Good morning everyone. Today we will start the chapter metals and non-metals. Okay. Already we have completed this chapter. So today is the revision day. We will revise all the topics included in metals and non-metals. Okay. So first we will do here the topic metals. You can see here the physical properties of metals. Okay. First you should know which elements behaves as a metals which carry the positive charge. For example, I have taken one example, that is sodium. Its atomic number is 11. How can you distribute the electrons? 2, 8, 1. Okay. In outermost shell, how many electrons are present? Only one. It is less than 4. If it is less than 4, it can easily lose the electrons. And electrons carry the negative charge. It means you are removing the negative charge. Then what is remaining behind? It is positive. That's why sodium carry positive charge. Okay. So all the elements or all the atoms which carry the positive charge behaves as a metals. So the first physical property, it has shiny surface in a pure state. It means it should not be in compound form, okay, because it will change the property if you are going to convert, suppose, hydrogen into water. So you will see here it is showing the chemical reaction. Initially in the pure state it was in gaseous state, okay, but after reaction now it has liquid state. So it has changed the property. That's why it is written here in pure state it has the shiny surface. Okay. Next point. Generally they are hard. Okay. That belongs to metals. Few metals are soft also, but generally they are hard. Means 90% they are hard. Okay. Because their electrons are tightly bonded. Okay. Next property, it is malleable. It can be convert into sheets on beating. Okay. If you will beat the metals, then it will convert into sheets. For example, you have seen the iron bells that we are using in school, okay, that has the malleability property, because if you will beat the iron, then it will convert into the sheets, and that property is called malleable. Second property, it is written here ductile. If you will draw the metals into a thin wires, then this property is called ductility. Okay. For example, if you have seen copper wires that we are using in electricity. Okay. So copper is the metal. If you will draw the metals, then it will convert into the wire, and that property is called ductility. Yes. Next property, it is good conductor of heat and electricity. Okay. Means all metals are good conductors. They have the electrons that is freely moving. If any, you can say any metals can be good conductor only if follow the two condition. What condition? Must be charge present on that, and second one is must have the motion. So all the metals, they have positive and negative charge and they are in moving state. That's why these are good conductors of heat and electricity. But one example it is given here, gold. It is highly ductile. You have seen your mothers wearing the ornamentals that made up of gold only. They have the property of ductility. That's why different ornaments we are getting. Different shapes you have seen in jewelries. Okay. High melting point. Okay. So all the metals has high melting point. Why they have the high melting point? Because we have done in second point, they have they are hard in nature. Why they are hard? Because they are making the strong bond. If they are making the strong bond, it means they have the high melting point. Next property, they are good conductor of electricity also. Okay. Heat can pass through it, electricity can pass through it. Okay. They produce the sonorous sound. Sonorous. Okay. Sonorous, they have the property of sonorous, means they can produce the sound. Sonorous means to produce the sound. If you have seen in school, the same example we have taken already, that iron bells, it produce the sound only, na? So all the metals, they are showing these properties. Okay. Now you can see the properties of non-metals. Okay, non-metals are found in all the three states. In metals you have seen mainly they are found in solid state, few are liquid state also, but non-metals they have all the three natures: solid, liquid and gas at room temperature. Okay, gold you have seen, copper you have seen, mercury you know you have seen in thermometer, it is found in liquid state. Okay, so metals they are solid as well as in liquid state as both, but non-metals they are in solid, liquid and gas. Okay, so example it is given here, iodine, it is non-metal. We have done all metals are lustrous and all non-metals are non-lustrous, but one element it is there, iodine, which has lustrous property. All non-metals are non-lustrous, exception is there, iodine. Okay, iodine shows the lustrous property. All non-metals are bad conductor of heat and electricity, but one allotropes of carbon is there, that is good conductor of electricity, that is graphite. So this is the exception. Okay, non-metals they are found in gaseous state also, but diamond it is very very hardest metal, okay, of the universe you can say, and it is the allotropes of carbon. So you can see here the difference between metals and non-metals. Generally the metals are hard and lustrous, non-metals soft and they have no lustrous property, but exception we have done, that is of iodine. Okay, metals are malleable and ductile, it can be easily converted into sheets and wires, but non-metals are non-malleable and non-ductile. Whenever you want to learn the properties of metals and non-metals, you can take one example in metals, that is iron. If you will consider iron as a example in metals, you can learn all the properties of metals. But if you will take hydrogen gas as an example in non-metals, then you can learn all the properties of non-metals. For example, hydrogen only I have taken here. You know, hydrogen has lustrous property. No, it is non-lustrous, it will not shine. It is non-malleable. Can you beat the hydrogen gas into a sheet? No. Can you draw the hydrogen gas into wire? No. So it is not having the ductility property also. Next point. These are sonorous. They are producing the sound, but these are not sonorous. It means if you will see the hydrogen gas, that hydrogen gas will not produce any sound. If you will beat the hydrogen gas, it will not produce any sound. Okay, these are good conductor of heat and electricity. Okay, metals are good conductor of heat and electricity, but non-metals are poor conductor of heat and electricity. Now we will do the chemical properties of metals and non-metals. Okay, I already told metals carry the positive charge, non-metals carry the negative charge. Okay, so these reacts with oxygen to produce metal oxide, which are basic in nature. Before doing this point, first I will tell you, if you know metals carry the positive charge, means wherever in compound metals word will come, it shows the basic nature, it will show basic nature. For example, metals, it is carrying positive charge, and this word we are using, it is basic. Which word? Metals. Metal oxide. In metal oxide also we are using metal, so it is also basic. Metal carbonates. Here also we are using the word metals, it is also basic. Metal bicarbonate. There also we are using the word metals, so it is also basic. So you can easily learn wherever word we are using metals, all are basic in nature. Okay, all are basic in nature. So you know, if metals are basic in nature, definitely it will react with acids. Okay, so that's why it is written here, these react with oxygen. Okay, oxygen it has acidic nature. So in this way we can say in non-metals also, all non-metals carry the negative charge. They are acidic in nature. Non-metal oxide, because we are using the word non-metals, so it is acidic in nature. Okay, so finally what conclusion we have got here? Acid react with base and base react with acid and it will be neutral. Okay, so we can say na, when acid react with base, it will give salt and water. Okay, so oxygen, its nature is acidic. Metals, its nature is basic. So base can react with acid. Okay, you can say metal when react with oxygen, it will give metal oxide. Where word we are using metal, then it will be basic. Metal is acid, metal is basic in nature. Oxygen, it is here acidic in nature. Acid and base, it will give metal oxide, so it is basic. So one by one we will do the chemical reaction. Metals when react with oxygen give metal oxide. Okay, so first example it is given already. Okay, here copper when react with oxygen, it will give copper oxide. Aluminium when react with oxygen, it will give aluminium oxide. Sodium when react with oxygen, it will give sodium oxide. So most of the metal oxides are insoluble in in water, but if they are soluble, then we call them alkali. Is it clear to all? Metal oxide are insoluble in water, but if they are soluble, then one more name we will say here, that is alkali. So we can say na, alkali are the metal oxide which are soluble in water. Okay, what are alkali? Metal oxide which are soluble in water. So we can see here the example. Sodium oxide and potassium oxide both are soluble in water. So we can say these are alkali. So can you say all alkali are bases or all bases are alkali? If you know, tell. We can say bases are what? In that we can write two things: soluble, insoluble. Soluble means, now the other name we can say it is alkali because they are soluble, and it will remain as it is, bases. So alkali is the part of base, no? So we can say alkali, all alkali are bases, but all bases are not alkali. So in exam many times they are asking this question. Okay, sodium oxide, potassium oxide, you have to learn. These two are the metallic oxide which behaves as a alkali. In 10th class this question many times they are asking. Now next point is, sodium potassium react very easily with oxygen. If you will see the reactivity series, in that potassium is more reactive than sodium, and it is coming upper side only, it is present at the top of the reactivity series. So potassium is more reactive than sodium. Okay, coming on first and second position. So highest reactive element we can say it is potassium. Okay, this much highly reactive it is, it can easily react with oxygen, this much highly. Okay, that's why we have to keep in immersed in kerosene oil. because if it will come in contact with oxygen and water, it will react very easily. So we have to prevent them from reaction, and we have to keep this in kerosene. Okay, so we can keep safely in kerosene oil only. Now, in second point it is written magnesium, aluminium, zinc and lead. They form the thin layers of oxides. Okay, when you will keep this in the atmosphere on magnesium, aluminium, zinc and lead, on the surface of these metals, a layer of oxide will be formed, and that oxide layer behaves as an inert layer. Inert layer means inactive, unreactive. Okay, so it will not carry on the reaction further. It will not continue the reaction. So we can say now magnesium, aluminium, zinc, lead, all four elements, these are less reactive than sodium and potassium. Okay, because on that which layer will be formed? Inert layer of oxides. तो जो inert layer है ये फिर से reaction को नहीं होने देगी. Okay, so next property is reaction with water. How the metal react with water and how they will produce the gas. Potassium when react with water, you can see, if you will see the water, on breaking it will give H positive ion, OH negative ion. Okay, potassium, it has metallic nature, you can say it has positive charge. Positive charge react with negative, OH negative. Okay, positive will react with negative. So potassium will react with OH. It will give potassium hydroxide. So what is left behind? Hydrogen. It will emit in the form of hydrogen gas. Okay. So again I will write this reaction. K plus H positive, OH negative. You can see this water I have written. Okay, ionic form of water. So potassium, it behaves as a positive, it will react with OH, the product will be QH. Now hydrogen left behind, so it will emit out in the form of gas. So this reaction only written here, and that's why they are not put in water, because it is highly reactive. The same reason behind with sodium. Sodium also react with water very easily, and this will release hydrogen gas, and this reaction will be very violent. Okay, if you will see sodium metal, if you will put the sodium into the water, okay, so what will be there? Very violent reaction will be there. It will be very explosive, and this will cause the damage to the environment also. Okay, so actually the main reason behind that, it is not because of sodium and water, it is because of the gas released during this reaction. Okay, हाइड्रोजन गैस जो निकल रही है उसी की वजह से वॉलेंट रिएक्शन हो रही है. Calcium when react with water, it will also release the hydrogen gas, but this hydrogen gas, it is limiting in less quantity, so it is not this much explosive as in case of sodium and potassium. So the important point you can see here now, magnesium does not react with cold water. Why? Because it is less reactive. Okay, so it needs some hot water. Okay, means hot water only can react with magnesium because it is less reactive. Cold water will not provide any energy to the reaction. Okay, aluminium, zinc, iron do not react with water. It is very important question according to CBSE board. They are asking many times that which metal will react with hot water, which metal will react with cold water. Sodium and potassium, they are very highly reactive. They can easily react with cold water. क्योंकि सोडियम और पोटेशियम खुद इतने ज़्यादा रिएक्टिव हैं, तो उसको तो ठंडे पानी में भी अगर आप डालोगे देन इट विल बी वेरी वेरी रिएक्टिव. ओके, एल्यूमिनियम, जिंक, आयरन डू नॉट रिएक्ट विद वाटर बट रिएक्ट विद स्टीम. ओके, एल्यूमिनियम, जिंक एंड आयरन दे आर इवन लेस रिएक्टिव देन मैग्नीशियम, ये उससे भी कम रिएक्टिव है. सो इवन दे विल नॉट रिएक्ट विद कोल्ड वाटर, दे नीड अ स्टीम. ओके, so in board this reaction many times they have asked iron. They will ask the question iron react with easily react with hot water, cold water or steam. So what will be your answer? It is the steam. Okay, iron can react with only and only with steam instead of hot and liquid water, cold water. But you have to learn this also. On reaction it will give, wait, on reaction it will give Fe3O4. Actually, what is this Fe3O4? It is the mixture of FeO and Fe2O3. In board they can ask like this also. Instead of Fe3O4 they can write FeO dot Fe2O3. इसकी जगह वो ये भी लिख कर देख सकते हैं. This also will be the correct answer. You can see here Fe3, how many iron it is there? 3. So 3 oxygen there. How many oxygen total? 4. Okay. 3 iron, 3 iron is there, 1 Fe there and 2 Fe there. Okay. 4 oxygen, 1 oxygen there and 3 oxygen there. So if you will add these two compound, FeO and Fe2O3, it will give Fe3O4. Okay. So they can ask in this form also, iron plus H2O FeO dot Fe2O3 plus H2. Okay. So instead of Fe3O4 they can write FeO dot Fe2O3. Very, very important reaction. Very, very important. Now the next topic is chemical properties of metals. Few important points given here. Metals, these react with acid to produce metal, salt and hydrogen gas. We have done. Okay. Whenever metal react with any salt, with acids, it will produce which gas? Hydrogen gas. Non-metals, they do not react with acid. Why? Because non-metals also acidic in nature. Acids, they are also acids. Acid can't react with acid. Some metals react with bases to produce hydrogen gas. Some metals are positive in nature, they behaves as a base, then why they are reacting with base? But this property is called amphoteric reaction. Okay, amphoteric compounds are those compounds which can react with acid as well as base. So reaction of non-metal with base, definitely it will take place because non-metals are acidic and bases both are in opposite nature, they can react with each other. Yes, so reaction with acid, you will see metal when react with acid it will give metal, salt and hydrogen. Any one example I am taking here. Suppose potassium, it react with HCl, then it will give KCl plus H2. Potassium, it is carrying a positive charge, hydrogen fluoride, H positive, Cl negative, plus react with negative and the product will be KCl. And which gas will release out? It is hydrogen gas. Okay. So every metal can react with dilute acid. Acid I have taken. Even any other example you can take. Instead of HCl you can take H2SO4. Still you will get the salt. This is the salt. How can you identify the salt? Which do not carry any hydrogen positive ion or any OH negative ion. If it will carry the hydrogen positive ion, then it behaves as a acid. For example, HCl, it is behaving as a acid. Why? Because it carries the positive charge. H2SO4, it behaves as a acid because it carries the H positive ion. Okay. And base, sodium hydroxide, you can see in this OH negative ion present, so it behaves as a base. And which do not carry any H positive or OH negative, that behaves as a salt. Okay. So you can say na, when metals react with acid, it will give metal, salt and hydrogen gas. More example you can see, sodium chloride, NaCl. It is a salt because it is neither carrying H positive ion nor OH negative ion. MgCl2, it is also the salt. So how you can get the salt when metal react with acid? Next point is hydrogen does not evolve in case of nitric acid. This is very important because it is a strong oxidizing agent. It oxidizes hydrogen. Okay. Copper does not react with acid, dilute H2SO4 and dilute HCl. Okay. Only in 1 marks they can ask why they are not producing the hydrogen gas when react with nitric acid. With every acid they will release the hydrogen gas. For example, HCl, H2SO4. But if it will react with HNO3, then it will not release the hydrogen gas. Because HNO3, what it will do, that hydrogen gas will release during the reaction. Immediately it will oxidize the hydrogen. It means it will give the oxygen to hydrogen and it will convert into H2O. ओके, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट कि आप करोगे जब सभी एसिड से कोई भी मेटल रिएक्ट कर रहा है तो हाइड्रोजन गैस रिलीज कर रहा है, बट नाइट्रिक एसिड से रिएक्ट कर रहा है देन ये हाइड्रोजन गैस रिलीज नहीं करता. वाई? द रीज़न बिहाइंड दैट, नाइट्रिक एसिड इज़ अ स्ट्रॉन्ग ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट. ये स्ट्रॉन्ग ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट है. इट विल रिलीज द ऑक्सीजन. इसमें से ऑक्सीजन निकलेगी. जैसे ही वो हाइड्रोजन गैस निकलती है उसके साथ इमीडिएटली ऑक्सीजन कंबाइन कर जाएगा. नाइट्रिक एसिड अपना ऑक्सीजन दे देगा हाइड्रोजन को एंड इट विल कन्वर्ट इनटू वाटर. तो वो हाइड्रोजन की फॉर्म में निकल ही नहीं पाएगा. ओके, सो दिस इज द मेन रीज़न बिहाइंड दैट. मस्ट लर्न दिस पॉइंट, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. ओके, aquaresia. What is the meaning of aquaresia? Freshly prepared concentrated HCl, concentrated nitric acid in ratio 3:1, it is called aquaresia. Actually the noble gases are there, noble metals are there, gold, silver. Okay, these are the noble metals. Noble means unreactive. Noble means unreactive. Okay, these do not react with atmospheric gases. Okay, so how they will react? It is not reacting with any other acid. किसी भी acid से react नहीं करता. But if you will mix the two acids together, which one? HCl or HNO3. In which ratio? 3:1. Means how much quantity of HCl you will take? 3 times to that of nitric acid. If 1 volume of nitric acid you have taken, 1 volume, then how much quantity of HCl you will take? If it is 1, then this will be 3 volume. If it is 3, then this will be 9. How much times you have taken? 3 times. So these two compounds, if you will mix, these two acids you will mix, and which one it can be? It is concentrated. It should be concentrated. If you will mix concentrated HCl and nitric acid in the ratio 3:1, you will get the highly reactive acid that the name is called aquaresia. Aquaresia, many times in board it is asked like this: what is the ratio of HCl and HNO3 in aquaresia? So you have to learn 3:1 of HCl and HNO3, and whenever they will mix together it will react with gold and silver. Okay, we can use for reacting these elements noble metals. So it is written here gold and platinum. I have taken the example of gold and silver, but platinum also they are very less reactive. So it can react with platinum also. Platinum will not dissolve in HCl or nitric acid, but when it come in contact with aquaresia it will dissolve. Okay, reaction with bases. Metals react with bases to produce the hydrogen gas. Okay, so which example you will take here? Zinc. Zinc is a metal and it behaves as an amphoteric element. I told you amphoteric element are those which can react with acid as well as base. So zinc, you will see here, it react with HCl and it will react with NaOH. So metals actually they are not reacting with base, but which element will react here? zinc because it is amphoteric. One more example is there, aluminium in 10th class. So zinc when react with sodium hydroxide, it will give the compound sodium zincate. So zinc when react with NaOH, it will give sodium zincate plus hydrogen gas. So you can see here metals react with bases. Metal react with base and produce hydrogen gas. This hydrogen gas. In this example only you will write the example of zinc and aluminium. You can't write any other example. Okay. So our next topic is corrosion. So the process of breaking down of the metal surface, actually it is a metal surface, because of their reaction with moisture and gases present in air, it is called corrosion. Rusting of iron, rust word we are using only for the iron. Okay, corrosion, it is a general word we are using for every elements. Okay, corroded copper we can use. Okay, corroded silver you can use. Corroded iron you can use, but corroded iron, the specific name it is given, that is rust. So what is the formula of rust? It is Fe2O3. Whenever iron come in contact with the moisture and gases, atmospheric gases, it will give the formula Fe2O3 dot XH2O. Dot means this water it is present in solid state. Okay, X here it means unknown water molecule. We don't know how much quantity of water is present in rust. So in MCQs they can ask what is the chemical formula of rust? Fe2O3 dot XH2O. In the same way they can ask the corroded copper. So what is the formula? CuOH twice dot CuCO3. Basic copper carbonate, you can learn by this way. Basic copper carbonate, basic means copper hydroxide. Okay, and copper carbonate, this is there, CuCO3. With dot I have written, it means it is found in solid state. This is the chemical formula of corroded copper. So what is the nature of corroded copper? It is basic or acidic? It is basic, because by other name it is, they are saying this also, basic copper carbonate. Okay, if you will see the यूटेंसिल दैट इज़ मेड अप ऑफ कॉपर, जो कॉपर का बना हुआ है उस पर जंग लग जाता है. ओके, वो जंग क्या होता है, उसका जो केमिकल फॉर्मूला होता है दैट इज़ कॉपर हाइड्रोक्साइड डॉट कॉपर कार्बोनेट. तो आप उसकी आप देखोगे अपने घर में जो आपकी मदर है वो एसिड यूज़ करती है, मीन्स दे आर यूजिंग द लेमन, एंड दैट लेमन इट इज़ यूज फॉर रबिंग द सर्फेस ऑफ दैट कॉपर. ओके, इट विल रिमूव दिस लेयर. सो बिकॉज वाई दे आर यूजिंग द लेमन, बिकॉज लेमन में क्या होता है एसिड, एंड एसिड रिएक्ट विद बेस and it will neutralize. तो वो corroded layer जो होती है that will be removed very easily. If they will ask what is the chemical formula of corroded silver, that is Ag2S. It means some gases are present in our atmosphere. There has sulfur gas also present that react with the silver and it will give silver sulfide, and it is black in color. ओके, चांदी काली पड़ गई, ऐसे बोलते चांदी काली पड़ गई, तो वो इसी की वजह से होता है सिल्वर सल्फाइड. सो फ्यू फैक्टर्स आर देयर विच विल अफेक्ट द कोरोजन. रिएक्टिव नेचर ऑफ मेटल, इफ मेटल विल बी हाईली रिएक्टिव डेफिनेटली इट विल कोरोड. प्रेजेंस ऑफ सॉल्ट, अगर उसके अराउंड सॉल्ट प्रेजेंट होंगे तो वो भी कोरोड होएगा. प्रेजेंस ऑफ पॉल्यूटेंट पार्टिकल्स, आपके एटमॉस्फेयर में पोल्यूशन ज़्यादा है देन इट विल बी. Presence of less reactive metal, if it is less reactive it will not be much corroded. Okay, how can you prevent the corrosion? How can you prevent? Rusting can be prevented by painting, oiling, greasing. You know, whenever rust will be there, okay, जब rust लग जाता है, corrosion होता है, then we are doing the painting, you are using the oil on the surface of metals, you will grease the iron. साइकिल में कई बार देखते हो आप वहाँ grease use करते हैं because to prevent from the rust. Okay, rusting can be prevented by applying a layer of metal. If you will use that metal which is more reactive than that element which is going to be corroded, ऐसा एलिमेंट जो कोरोड होने जा रहा है उससे ज़्यादा रिएक्टिव एलिमेंट अगर आप उसके सरफेस से उसको कोट कर देते हो, देन ऑल्सो इट विल प्रिवेंट द कोरोजन. ओके, फॉर एग्जाम्पल यू हैव टेकन जिंक ऑन आयरन. जिंक इज़ मोर रिएक्टिव देन आयरन. तो जिंक की अगर आप लेयर आयरन के ऊपर करोगे देन जिंक विल बी रिमूव्ड इंस्टेड ऑफ आयरन. जिंक के ऊपर की लेयर है वो रिमूव हो जाएगी बट आयरन की नहीं होगी बिकॉज जिंक इज़ मोर रिएक्टिव एंड दिस प्रोसेस इज कॉल्ड गैल्वेनाइजेशन. इन बोर्ड it is asked what is galvanization. You can write the definition. The process of depositing zinc on iron is called galvanization. Okay, they can ask like this, which element you are using for depositing on the surface of iron in galvanization process. So the answer will be zinc. Rusting can also be prevented by connecting the iron object with more reactive metals. With more reactive metals, zinc with the help of wire. Okay, how it can be? Suppose this is the iron block and this is the zinc block. If you will connect these two block with the wire, आपने wire से connect कर दिया, still zinc will react but iron will not react. आपने connectivity जोड़ दी है, तो in that case ना zinc will expose to the surface to the atmospheric gases more easily as compared to iron. See, even by connecting these two blocks you can prevent the rust. Okay, last point is by alloying. Alloying means you have seen steel at your home, steel utensil you have seen. If you will see the iron container or steel container, then iron container will be easily rusted as compared to steel. Why? Because in steel we have taken iron with some other metals. स्टील के अंदर आयरन के साथ दूसरे मेटल्स मिक्स हैं, carbon it is mixed. Okay, that will change the property of iron. It will not allow the rust on the surface of iron. So steel it is more better as compared to iron. So steel actually what is this? It is the alloy. So what is alloy? It is the homogeneous mixture of two or more metals. आपने metals को mix कर दिया homogeneously. Okay, then it will give the new thing, new substance that is called alloy. So how many methods are there? How you can prevent? By painting, oiling, greasing. Second, by which method? Galvanization. Third, by using a wire, by connecting the two blocks with a wire. Fourth, by alloy. Okay, so up to this we have revised. You can carry on your study. Okay, be happy and take care. Thank you and have a nice day.